Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. I bid to Madam Intan Nushamimi, our lecturer for Medical Coding 2, and to all my friends. So my name is Ahmad Uzaibil Roslan and I am from Group 1, and Group 1 represented by Salim binti Idris, Abang Nur Haizam bin Abang Kamaluddin, Balkis binti Hasnan, Nur Fahana Husaini binti Mat Nazari, and Nurul Mardiah binti Hazormi. So as for today, we're going to present about our infographic, which a title of congenital malformations, deformations, and chromosomal abnormalities. So as you guys know, what is mean by congenital malformation? Actually, congenital malformation is a physical defect present in a baby at birth, irrespective of whether the defect is caused by a genetic factor or by prenatal events that are not genetic. So in a malformation, the development of a structure is arrested, delayed, or misdirected early in embryonic life, and the effect is permanent. So congenital malformations can involve many different organs, including the brain, heart, lungs, liver, bones, and intestinal tract. These defects can occur for many reasons, including inherited genetic conditions, toxic exposure of the fetus, for example to alcohol, birth injury, and in many cases for unknown reasons. All parents are at risk of having a baby with a birth defect, regardless of age, race, income, or residence. So how a particular congenital malformations affect a child varies. It depends greatly on the severity of the defect and whether or not other medical problems are present. The parents of children with congenital malformations are encouraged to discuss the specifics of the effects of the defect on their child's current conditions with their child's doctor. So a congenital malformation is also called a birth defect or congenital anomaly. So next we move to the chromosomal abnormalities. So almost every cell in our body contains 23 pairs of chromosomes for a total 46 chromosomes. Half of the chromosomes come from our mother and the other half come from our father. So the first 22 pairs are called autosomes. The 23rd pair consists of the sex chromosome X and Y. So females usually have 2 X chromosomes and males usually have 1 X and 1 Y chromosome in each cell. So all of the information that the body needs to grow and develop comes from chromosomes. Each chromosome contains thousands of genes which make proteins that direct the body's development, growth, and chemical reaction. Many types of chromosomal abnormalities exist, but they can be categorized as either numerical or structural. So numerical abnormalities are whole chromosomes, either missing from or extra to the normal pair. Structural abnormalities are when part of an individual chromosome is missing, extra, switched to another chromosome, or turned upside down. So chromosomal abnormalities can occur as an accident when the egg or the sperm is formed or during the early developmental stages of the fetus. So the age of the mother and certain environmental factors may play a role in the occurrence of genetic errors. Prenatal screening and testing can be performed to examine the chromosome of the fetus and detect some, but not all, types of chromosomal abnormalities. So chromosomal abnormalities can have many different effects depending on the specific abnormality. For example, an extra copy of chromosome 21 causes Down syndrome or trisomy 21. So chromosomal abnormalities can also cause a miscarriage, disease, or problems in growth or development. That's all for me. Thank you.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fahana Husaini. So today I will be explaining for this chapter congenital malformation, deformation, and chromosomal abnormalities. Congenital malformation, deformation, and chromosomal abnormality. To understand the condition that are classified to this chapter of ICD-10-CM, coder need to understand its terminologies. A congenital anomaly is a disorder that exists at the time of birth, maybe as a result of genetic factor, agent causing defect such as teratogen in the embryo or both. Agent that cause defect in embryo called teratogen. ICD-10-CM make a clearer distinction between anomaly and deformity. A deformity is a problem in the structure or form which may or may not be disfiguring. An example of this Volkmann deformity, which is congenital deformity of foot due to tibiotarsaral dislocation. Anomaly or birth defect is a deviation from what is normal in development of a structure or organ. An example of an anomaly is spina bifida cystica. Spina bifida is a congenital condition in which the spinal canal fails to close around the spinal cord. Congenital anomalies, category code Q00 until Q99 are classified in this chapter. This chapter is organized according to anatomical site. The blocks found in this chapter are Q00 until Q07, congenital malformation of the nerve system. Q10 until Q80, congenital malformation of eyes, ear, face, and neck. Q20 until Q28, congenital malformation of the circulatory system. Q13 until Q34 is congenital malformation of respiratory system. Q35 until Q38, cleft lips and cleft plates. Q38 until Q45 is congenital malformation of digestive system. Q15 until Q56 is congenital malformation of genital organ. Q16 until Q64 is congenital malformation of the urinary system. Q65 until Q79 is congenital malformation and deformation of musculoskeletal system. Q18 until Q89 other congenital malformation. Q19 until Q99 is chromosomal abnormality known as well classified.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Balkis Binti Asnan from BA 2355A. Alright, now I would like to continue to explain the types and the characteristic of Down syndrome. There are three types of Down syndrome. The first one is trisomy 21. This is by far the most common type where every cell in the body has 3 copies of chromosome 21 instead of 2. Next is a translocation Down syndrome. In this type, each cell has part of an extra chromosome 21 or an entirely extra one, but it's attached to another chromosome instead of being on its own. The last one, which is the third one, is mosaic Down syndrome. This is the rare types where only some cells have an extra chromosome 21. We can't tell what type of Down syndrome someone has just by how they look. The effect all of 3 types very similar, but someone with mosaic Down syndrome may not have as many symptoms because fewer cells have the extra chromosome. Now, I will explain the characteristic of Down syndrome. Down syndrome can have many effects and it's different for each person. Some will grow up to live almost entirely on their own, while others will need more help taking care of themselves. Mental abilities vary, but most people with a Down syndrome have mild to moderate issue with thinking, reasoning, and understanding. They will learn and pick up new skills their whole life, but they may take longer to reach important goals like walking, talking, and developing social skills. People with a Down syndrome tend to have certain physical features in common. These may include eye that slant up at the outer corner, small ears, flat noses, protruding tongue, tiny white spot in the color part of the eye, short neck, small hand and feet, short stature, loose joint, and weak muscle tone. Many people with a Down syndrome don't have any other health issues, but some do. Common conditions include heart problems and trouble hearing and seeing.
Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. My name is Salmi binti Idris. I will continue with this interesting topic. Down syndrome is a genetic condition, but it isn't hereditary. Neither trisomy 21 nor mosaicism is inherited from a parents. These cases of Down syndrome are the result of a random cell division even during the baby's development, but 1/3 of translocation cases are hereditary, accounting from about 1% of all cases of Down syndrome. That means the genetic material that can lead to Down syndrome is passed from parents to child. Both parents can be carriers of the translocation Down syndrome genes without showing any sign or symptom of Down syndrome. The risk of having a second child with the translocation type of Down syndrome is about 10 to 15% if the mother carries the genes. If the father is the carrier, however, the risk is about 3%. According to the National Down Syndrome Society, Down syndrome are born to mothers who are younger than 35 years old. Younger women have baby more frequently, so that the number of babies with Down syndrome are higher in that group. However, moms who are older than 35 are more likely to have baby affected by the condition. That's all for me.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening. My name is Abang Nohaizam bin Abang Kamaluddin. I will continue this presentation with my first point, that is number cases. Down syndrome remains the most common chromosomal condition diagnosed in the United States. Each year, about 6,000 babies born in the United States have Down syndrome. This means that Down syndrome occurs in about 1 in every 700 babies. According to the World Health Organization, the estimated incidence of Down syndrome is between 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 1,100 live births worldwide. In more developed nations where prenatal screening and genetic counseling are widely accessible, the number of babies born with Down syndrome is on the decline. This is because the access of early screening means that women are given the option to abort their baby when they discover that the baby is likely to born with a disability, such as Down syndrome. For example, in Iceland, Down syndrome has been nearly eradicated, as the vast majority of women, close to 100%, terminate their pregnancy after finding that the baby will have the disorder. In lesser developed nations where access to prenatal care and screening is less accessible, the risk of abandonment of infants and children with Down syndrome is high. Children with disabilities in developing countries tend to be the most stigmatized population, and some countries will ignore them completely. There is less access to research and proper information, leading to a lack of education and misconceptions about various disabilities. Next, I will continue with my second point, that is living with Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome can work but often have jobs that underutilize their skills. According to one national survey in 2015, only 57% of adults with Down syndrome were employed and only 3% were full-time employed. 26% of respondents were volunteers and almost 3% were self-employed. Moreover, the high percentage of people work in the restaurant or food industry and in janitorial and cleaning services, even though a large majority of adults reported that they use computers. Areas of employment should be broadened, and technology and computer skills need to be included in education and job training. This is not to say that all people with Down syndrome will have the interest or skill to use a computer at work, but further examination should be done to use whether computer skills can lead to a good, stable job for some people with Down syndrome. Educators, job counselors, and families need to work together to broaden employment opportunities for people with Down syndrome by developing clear plans from education to post-school employment. That is all from me. Thank you.
My name is Nurumadia binti Hazormi. Now I will be explain how can congenital disorders can be prevented. Basic reproductive health approach are to prevent congenital disorder, which includes taking supplement, genetic counseling, and family planning, where is the foundation for improving neonatal and infant mortality and reducing birth defects. As infant mortality rates fall, birth rates tend to decline because parents become increasingly confident that the children they conceive will survive childhood. So the first approach are supplements. Congenital disorder can be caused by deficiency of certain essential dietaries such as vitamins and minerals. Increasing the quantity of this diet nutrient in the diet can prevent certain congenital disorder. Folic acid is another example. Fortifying a staple food with folic acid or giving folic acid as a pill for 3 months before and after conception significantly reduce the birth prevalence of neural tube defects. The next approach is family planning. A functional, accessible family planning service that is well used by people is essential for the prevention of congenital disorder. And if this service is available, women have the option of limiting their family size. And therefore, fewer infants with congenital disorders are born. Next, Women of advanced maternal age, which is 35 years or older, can reduce their risk of having an infant with a chromosomal abnormality, particularly Down syndrome. This risk increases as they get older, and family planning allows these women the option of completing their families before 35 years of age. Next, women who have had a child with a congenital disorder that is inherited are at risk in following pregnancies of having further affected children, and with family planning, they have the option of not having more children. And the last approach is genetic counseling. Genetic counseling is an educational process which helps people with a congenital disorder or a risk of giving birth to a child with a congenital disorder and help their families to understand for the diagnosis, the cause of the congenital disorder, including the method of inheritance, also the clinical effects, prognosis, and available treatment for the congenital disorder, also the risk of recurrence of the congenital disorder in future pregnancies or other family members. And lastly, the options for reducing this risk or preventing the congenital disorder in future pregnancies. Genetic counseling assists these people to make their own informed decisions and choices. It also helps them take charge and accept the responsibility for coping with and solving situations in their lives that occur because of a congenital disorder.
Next, I will continue with the case study. A baby is born via emergency C-section. Baby is cyanotic at birth. APGAR score are 5 at 1 minute and 7 at 5 minutes. Upon the examination, there is a Down syndrome with cardiac murmur that varies in a frequency. What codes are applicable? The answer based on this case study is, for the PD, which is a principal diagnosis, is Q21.0. These are referred for the code of ventricular septal defect. For the SD, which is a secondary code for this case study, is Q90.9. These are referred for the code Down syndrome unspecified. The code range for this case study is Q00 until Q99, which is referred to congenital malformations, deformation, and chromosomal abnormalities.